Okay, we're now ready to start repairing the action. Take the action out and move it a bit further towards you, so you've got space behind. And make sure it's stable, make sure it can't fall over. Right, let's have a quick look at everything, see what needs doing. Go to the back. You'll notice all these little springs are in a very poor state. If you see a lot of them in this condition, the whole lot need to be replaced. You'll also notice that all these little cotton loops, they haven't snapped. That is a very good sign. It means you don't have to bother replacing those, because they are very fiddly to replace those little loops. But you'll notice this in lots of cases the spring has rusted to the loop. You have to remove that spring very carefully from the cotton loop without, there you are, it's pinged off. Whatever you do, don't tug at them and try and rip them off, as you'll snap the cotton. So you have to remove all those, and we'll be replacing every single one of those springs. Have a look at the hammers. The hammers, you can now have a good look at the hammers to see what sort of wear they've got on them. And also you can feel the felt, the condition of the felt. These feel quite hard. They might be a little bit too hard, but that doesn't matter. They can be repaired with a tool like this that's got points on it, pins, and you can then stab into the felt, and you can break it up a bit if you think it's too hard, but you can only tell with experience. Leave it as it is until the whole piano's ready to be so you can play it, then you can hear what it sounds like before you do any work on the hammerheads. You just find out what they sound like in their present state. Okay, come around here to the front. Now, to give you access to all the action for repair, you just take off this hammer rail, which is usually held on just by 2 screws. Go the other end. Sometimes it's got some screws in the middle, but this one hasn't. So you just undo that, which will enable you to take the hammer rail off. Don't let it drop off. There we are. Take that away. You can check on the hammer rail while you're at it. Now you've taken it off. Make sure the hinges aren't damaged. It's just the screws dropping in. And make sure the felt is in good condition. It's in reasonable condition, but even here there's a little bit of moth damage, but that you can just scrape away the remains, and that felt is in good enough condition. This felt, the hammer felt, is reasonable. That's good. So that doesn't need repairing. One less thing to bother having to repair. Now we're going to go into the action. This gives you complete access to the action. Bring the light and the camera in, and you'll notice where the little tapes have snapped. You can just take the whole lot back, open up the entire action, and any ones that haven't snapped, you can just snap them. See that that didn't require any effort to just snap the remains of those. Shows how rotten they were. Now you can have a good look at everything. You'll notice on this one, these little cushions, which looked alright, underneath they've been eaten. So, and it looks like every single one has been damaged by moths. Look, that one's hardly held on with anything. So you have to replace every single one of these cushions. All these pieces of felt here, you can see they're completely perished, and just there's one here. Look, you can pull that away. That bit of leather, it just strips off. Shows the leather's lost its strength. So you can remove all those little bits of leather like that. And while you're at it, you can remove the remains of the tape. That just pulls off the back. Sometimes it's quite hard to snap it. shows it was the leather that had perished, not the tape. Sometimes you can replace and stick a new end on. If you find the tapes are still reasonably solid, you can just stick a new tape, a new end on. But I don't think anybody sells these end pieces anymore. But look at the state of the leather. Look, it just peels off. It's completely perished. But if you want to replace all the tapes, which you will probably have to do, you have to cut it off or snap it off there. Right. Let's have a look at these felts here. These check felts. Make sure they haven't been eaten by anything. They look okay. That's good. Have a look at this back felt here. Make sure that, get the light on it to make sure that hasn't been eaten. It has got a bit of damage, but it looks reasonable. So now you've found out exactly what needs to be replaced, and you just remove all these remains of the tapes, and then probably give it another vacuum to get rid of these bits of dust, and then you'll be ready to start redoing all the bits that need replacing. But what do you call it? So this piano had looked like a basket case, and now you've seen inside the action, you can see it was in terrible condition, this piano, and it had all the edges of the keys had been smashed, homing on the pins. All these strings have got quite a lot of rust on them, but they're okay because we've lubricated them, so they won't get any rustier, and they shouldn't snap during the tuning process if you're lucky. And all this, go to the felt, all this felt here, these felt cushions need to be replaced, the leathers need to be replaced. Oh, one more thing, this rail here which holds these little adjustments here, you can test these to see if they turn. If you put a piece of metal like that and you try to rotate them and they don't go either way, don't force them, whatever you do, otherwise you'll snap the head off. If they don't rotate, that means you have to take out this rail and you have to get some sort of lubricating easing fluid in there, and the same with the other side, so that you can ease them off to make them adjustable. That's another process that needs doing. I'll show you how to do all that in the next video.